I'm here with Chuck Davoli just after the NCCI State Advisory Forum. He's an attorney representing claimants in the workers' compensation system. Chuck, what are your thoughts about the presentation today?
Well, I mean, it's, the findings, I also serve on the data review panel for National Academy of Social Insurance, but the findings here are consistent with what's happened nationally. And Louisiana, decreased frequency of claims, increased frequency of the severity. In other words, the more seriously injured persons are attributable to most of the cost, but decreased frequency, another 5.6% premium reduction, which was approved apparently last week. So I mean, it's nothing inconsistent with what's happening nationally. And in Louisiana here, it's actually pretty healthy. The comp industry is pretty healthy in terms of the profitability by the carriers and reduced costs for employers, the loss cost ratio down. So not surprising. And part of it's attributed to some of the things we've been able to do as far as regulations, treatment guidelines. I mean, the fee schedule still needs to be addressed in terms of to at least adjust to the inflation of the healthcare costs. But I mean, we've got a pretty healthy industry here compared to a lot of places in the country. There's one of the issues that most concerning to me is the issue on the opioids, which has drawn a lot of attention, and it's a battle between an issue over cost containment or reasonable necessary utilization of medications, particularly opioids. And the absurdity of it is that there's consensus that we ought to address the opioid epidemic issue and how that may affect workers' compensation. So the issue from our perspective is you got to have utilization. You got to allow chronic pain, and there's some chronic pain guidelines that are out for a kind of preliminary review. You got to allow chronic pain patients versus acute pain in some cases, and we had legislation that defines those kind of cases where opioids are reasonable and necessary. Mm-hmm. But the absurdity of it is, rather than address that rationally, the employer, particularly the insurance industry, wants strictly a cost containment initiative. As an example, the legislation that authorized medical marijuana excludes treatment for in chronic pain for workers' comp patients.
Right.
Not only is that a constitutional issue in terms of equal protection, but that shows the absurdity of it. You want to reduce the use of opioids for chronic pain, but at the same time don't want to provide reasonable alternatives.
I see.
And so that was kind of a takeaway for me, is how that the politics that are probably driving that rather than some kind of rational thought.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Chuck.